Hey everybody, welcome back to another Sunday video here where we take a look at the week ahead in terms of markets and we talk about trading setups. Before we get started, I want to ask you guys, I guess, our question of the week. I've been doing this each time. It's kind of fun. I want to ask you guys, how is your May going so far? My May has actually turned around. At the beginning, I had a real struggle and I was in the red and now have popped back into the green. Let me know, how is you guys' May trading results looking? Comment them down below on this video and I'll heart your comment if you share with the crowd. Of course, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, feel free to comment it. Let's jump into some charts. Let's see how things are going here going into this week. First of all, the dollar. The dollar has been so strong, and we've got to acknowledge what's been going on here. In terms of a price action standpoint, the dollar seems pretty unstoppable. Every time price pulls back, we find pretty immediate buying pressure, picking it back up and extending the gains further. So how do we approach this? Well, for me, step one is don't fight it, right? I'm not going to try and fight this. I'm not shorting. I'm not going against this. And I want to show you some stuff on that in just a moment in terms of where, retail crowds are positioned. Two, if you're bullish, pullbacks would be in order. And if you're three, bearish, wait for breakouts and failure, right? There's no need for me personally, even if I am bearish on the dollar, to be shorting the dollar when it's showing all the necessary strength for more upside, right? It's showing price action that looks incredibly bullish. So yeah, I'm not shorting the dollar, but I think it's a beautiful, for the bulls, it's a beautiful chart. For the sellers, we got to wait. And I want to show you, I mentioned that. Let's talk about what the retail crowd is doing in this situation. We've got our major pairs currently selected on the EDGEFINDER's Retail Sentiment tab. And check this out. When we look at this, we can see that pretty far across the board, it seems like people are betting against the US dollar. Take a look at this. New Zealand dollar, they're long NZD, shorting USD. 94% of retail traders are long this pair. AUDUSD, 89% of retail traders are long this pair. EURUSD, retail traders very long this pair. And we can keep going down the list. Now you can see dollar CAD. Look at this. They're shorting dollar CAD, shorting dollar yen. Dollar Swiss and pound dollar are kind of flat. My point with showing you guys this is pay attention, pay close attention to what retail traders are doing, because sometimes it can tell you how strong a trend really is. Right now, the dollar trend is red hot. It's very strong. And retail traders, according to our retail positions tracker on the EDGEFINDER, shows massive short interest on the dollar, meaning they're buying counters to the dollar and they're shorting the dollar against other currencies like the CAD and the yen. So where do we take that when we go look at the dollar? Well, again, the retail crowd is betting against this. They've been short and they're getting smacked by this continuous uptrend. So is there shorting to be done? Possibly, but not until we see retail get ditched out of the trade. So that's something to think about if you're paying attention to retail traders. Of course, if you guys would like access to this data, it is available within our EDGEFINDER product, which is linked down below in the description. You get access to the retail sentiment indicator that I just showed you, the smart money tracker, the bank signals tab, the watch list, signals for 30 plus assets and pair, and it is a one-time fee. And with that discount code, it takes the price down. So if you're interested in that, check out down below in the description. There is links and information about how to get your hands on the EDGEFINDER for you there. So dollar pairs across the board, I'm going to be very cautious on the long side if it's countered against the dollar. So that includes things like gold, that includes things like the euro, and several other things that we'll talk about here. So for the euro bulls, for the euro bears, this has been a win for the history books, right? The sellers have just been in so much control here. We broke lower. Key resistance now is in play here around 1.077. I think price movements back up into this area have to be met with some level of resistance. No, I shouldn't say have to. That's a bad choice of words, but likely to be met with resistance from sellers, right? So EURUSD rallies on that could be something to pay attention to. You've got lower highs on this chart. It's a beautiful downward trend. Classic textbook downtrend. Pound USD, probably the same story. You can see here's the pound against the dollar. Let's draw this from a fresh standpoint. I mean, this is just a beautiful channel to the downside, right? Sellers still in very much control of this chart here going forward. I mean, this is just classic cookie cutter textbook stuff. So when I say, if you're a dollar bear, wait for signs. if you're watching the pound USD and you're a bull, we need this to happen. We need the channel to fall apart. But until that happens, that's just wishful thinking. If you're buying it ahead of that breakout, in my opinion, you're just wishful thinking and you're trading against the flow of traffic, which is to the downside. I will not be long pound USD. I won't be long euro dollar, and I will not be long gold. So I've been trying to buy gold here a couple times, but the last time I tried to buy gold was up here and here. I made money on this one. I got stopped out on this one. Have not touched it since. I am looking to be a gold bull, but it has to show me signs of a reversal looking like this, right? Probably a breakout back into the 2000s would really be what kind of gets me interested on the long side again. Let's flip the script here for a second, and I'll show you guys where I'm currently at with some of my personal positions going into this week. All right, so here we are. We are loaded into my Webull brokerage. I'm going to log in here, and we are currently pulling up the NASDAQ chart that I'm in. I'm currently long, floating about $6,000+ on this one trade. This has been a crazy run for me. I caught this last week and have been holding it since my entry. And just has been an explosive move off of some of the AI stuff that's going on. And of course, that momentum is very, very strong right now and continues to push my trade higher. So that's been great for me. I also have a silver trade that I'm working with. I'm in the negative on this one. I sold puts. For those of you guys who are familiar with options trading, I sold some puts around a strike price of 20 on SLV, collected some premium there, and I'm seeing if silver can continue to rise. If it does, great. I'll look to try and take a profit. This is a dollar cost averaging approach that I'm approaching silver with. So it's a little bit different than my usual strategy that some of you guys are familiar with on the channel. However, NASDAQ is, of course, the standard, trailing stop method that I employ in my videos and in my own trading. So that is NASDAQ. So those are where I'm currently positioned. I also have a long position on Euro Yen. I have shared this one inside of the Discord channel. Let me see if I can share that with you guys here. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So let's pull this up. So this is the Discord channel where all of my trade alerts get sent with full explanations. If you guys are interested in joining this is also linked down below in the description. You can get notifications to your phone. Whenever I take a trade, it goes right here. Myself, Frank, Ivan, and we share all of our trades here so that you can see them within the group. So if you're interested in that, that is also available on sale right now. You can get discount YTVIP. Click the links down below in the description, and you can sign up for our premium Discord to get information there about what we're currently looking at in the markets. So yeah, I'm long Euro Yen, I'm long NASDAQ, and I'm long silver. Two of those are in profit, and a third one, the silver trade, is still working against me. But it is, again, something I'm looking at. Let's talk about the institutional positioning here this week as well. Something of note is that, again, I'm long Euro Yen, partially because the Japanese yen and the euro share opposite effects when it comes to institutional positioning. Institutional money is long euro and they're short Japanese yen at a pretty substantial rate. So when we look at these and we say, hey, well, there's a lot of long contracts relative to short contracts, institutional money is long euro and they're short Japanese yen, as we can see here. This data is very, very useful in my trading as well because I can see what institutional money is buying and what they're selling. And so as we go into a week like this, I'm continuing to hold my Euro Yen position. I'm happy to hold on to this as long as we don't break support structure. My stop loss is trailed, and I plan to continue to hold that one going into this week. So that's something else for you. Let's take a look at the watch list here now and see what is on the radar. So again, I already have this Euro Yen trade open long. And GJ is another one that's on the list as a possible buy. You got UJ, the Nikkei, you've got Swiss yen, dollar ZAR. So a couple ones that stick out to me personally. I've already got a yen trade, so I'd probably be looking to do something other than that. Perhaps oil. I've talked about this a little bit yesterday. I did a little short live stream. I talked about US oil. If oil breaks out, perhaps on the effect of a soft landing, any sort of soft landing news could potentially get us there, or a restriction of supply. Either one of those stories could potentially break oil higher. I'd be interested in a buy, especially if we get a breakout, possible retest around 74, and looking for continuations. That's something that's on the radar, but not immediately pressing on the oil trade that I have. Again, I'd be probably not necessarily bearish, but no longer interested in looking if we break through the 71 mark, which has been a pretty key level of support for oil traders. Let's talk about the indices a little bit more. The S&P 500 rallied so strong last week. It was an awesome week for my long indices ideas. We're at a resistance point though, and I'm not necessarily, I do not think I like the idea of selling or shorting at these areas. I'm actually looking to see if we can break higher to get more gas on this trade going, right? When you have a key resistance like this, especially when you're kind of in like a forming uptrend here. Here's the S&P 500, right? It's been in a nice upward move recently. This break going into next week could perhaps give us the next leg higher, right? Because as you break that, if you do break that, you have that potential to see prices squeeze higher as new buyers are introduced into the market. So I'll be paying attention to the S&P, the NASDAQ. I'm not really interested, to be completely honest with you guys, on the Dow, just not quite, doing the same things as the S&P and NASDAQ. This one is just lagging pretty substantially. If it begins to break structure to the upside, if we start to see a change in pace here, perhaps there's something. But again, my opinion, I'm preferring the NASDAQ right now, as that is obviously what I've already traded on the long side. That's the one I've been looking for. So we'll see how that one goes into the coming week. Let's take a look on the other side, see what's on the sell side. We got AUD/USD. We already discussed some dollar crosses. Here's the Australian dollar. This one, broke support pretty substantially this past week and has not really given much of an opportunity for sellers to join this move late, right? So it's been, there's even the 61.8% retracement level. Like that's a far away, but it's probably the only area I would actually have any interest in potentially picking up. Aussie on the sell side would be a retest at that 66.10 level, let's call it, on Australian dollar, US dollar. Let's take a look at the pound here real quick. We already looked at the pound briefly. Again, downward channel. Retests here look like selling opportunities in my personal opinion. Bitcoin is on the chart, BTCUSD. Bitcoin has been in a tough, kind of grueling, slow downtrend recently. For the bulls out there, got to see it break 27.5, I think. And when I say break, what I'm talking about is a clean move above, and then any retests, I would actually say could possibly lend towards more upside. But this thing is suppressed right now. Part of the reason the EDGEFINDER is so bearish on it is because, again, it's getting a -5 score. A lot of the economic numbers are working against it, right? GDP growth is declining. We're seeing shrinking, economy stuff, right? And so when you have the economics or the economy shrinking, that's going to hurt Bitcoin. Why? Because again, Bitcoin tends to be that sort of, it's not a safe haven, right? Gold is more of a safe haven, whereas Bitcoin tends to be, I would say it trades more similarly to penny stocks and small cap stocks, because again, it thrives in an area where money is cheap, low interest rates, environment tends to be a positive thing. So the increasing probabilities of higher interest rates for longer, that's going to be a very, very big suppressant, I guess, on the price of Bitcoin. Until that changes, until we have optimism in the world, Bitcoin, I think, stays kind of flat to negative until that dynamic shifts. We need to see optimism in the world. Until then, Bitcoin looks very sell heavy, in my opinion. So we'll continue to monitor that one in addition to everything else on this list. So EuroCAD also one to pay attention to as well. EuroCAD, let's take a look at the daily chart. Kind of fell out of favor here with this upward trend. You had this beautiful upward chart, fell apart here. I would say watch for breaks. We kind of broke underneath here and now retested that key zone. So if you're looking at this one with sell side bias, let's see if we can break through the lows and then look for possible retests. And yeah, I think, guys, that's going to wrap up, I think, what I have for this video. I do want to say also, if you guys want access to the EDGEFINDER, remember, you can get your copy down below using the code YTVIP. That'll get you a discount on that. And you can also package it with the VIP Discord. When you click that link down below, it'll take you to the page where you can select which things you would like. And if you apply that code, you'll see it takes off a big chunk of the price as a thank you to YouTube subscribers. Thank you guys for tuning into today's video. Have a great week ahead, and we'll see you next time.